Hi, I'm Taylor from University of Victoria.
I'm Kate from Colby College.
I'm Courtney from Idaho State University.
I'm Chrissy from American River College.
I'm Bridget Bay from Trinity University.
And welcome to 5000. 5000 was opened up last field season with the, after expanding upon the cloister here, they decided to last year expand on the western side of the cloister and see what really existed on this side. So when we first unwrapped the site this year, we noticed a series of black and red stains throughout the entire site, which littered literally everywhere. And Chrissy, if you want to talk about those?
The black stains are suggested to be evidence of individual fires or related to the collapse of the wall earlier in the 15th century. It's a divide between the monastic and life among the pilgrims.
Well, yeah, because it's possible that these stains, as well associated with the collapse of the church, could also be stains from the pilgrim fires, from the camps that could have been held directly outside of the monastery, which do, as Chrissy said there, separate the monastery from the public, separating basically sacred ground from ground for the general public. As well, when we unwrapped this, we of course revealed the wall that once existed and what we believed to be a new wall, which we have now trenched out. You want to talk about that wall there, Kate?
Yeah, so like Taylor said, when we first cleaned the area, we noticed a dark strip that ran all the way from the top of the wall connected to area 3000 to the end here. It was much easier to delineate towards the top. But once we started trenching it out to figure out the depths of this wall, we found pottery from the 13th and 14th centuries, which allowed us to get a pretty solid date on this. And from the looks of the trench, it also appears that this predates the wall connecting to the other area.
And the wall that runs parallel to it, if you see up near the edge of 3000, it dips down. And we're trying to see the connection between this wall that was excavated last year and our new wall. And it's actually not the same one. Once we started looking at the rocks, it was a different type of fill, it was less clean. And we hypothesized that at some point that wall was cut by Area 3000 and destroyed. And then when they wanted to rebuild on that wall, they found the foundation and rebuilt along the same area. But it's actually an earlier wall that predates the later church that was built in the 12th, 13th century.
As well, on the surface layer that we exposed when we first got here, we noticed a large rock here and another one that was located here. So we were able to simply lift this stone here to possibly reveal that it might have been an ashlar used from the creation of the church here, and then again reused as a support pedestal for a support beam that would have held up the church during a collapse or possibly another building. We noticed this one would have been done the same, however, it seems to be a very different stone.
We thought that stone over there was only a couple inches tall and it was wide, but it was definitely used as a support stone. This one we expected to be about the same size, but then we kept digging and digging and it just kept going down. And it was a huge stone that we had to remove because it's very heavy, but it is worked. It curves in almost like a handhold on the sides and then goes to a point. And we don't know its earlier use, but this is definitely a stone that's been reused on the site for a support stone for another pillar.
And then recently, in this last week, we've moved on to the most western part of Area 5000, where we see the mortar pit here that was dug out last season and was used in the creation of mortar for the road that used to run through here. A bit about the mortar pit.
Okay, so this entire area is what we've been working on recently, and one of the most interesting things that we find is there are tons of different layers of fill. There are so many different cuts. We have we thought we had maybe 4, but in the past couple of days we've started to realize we have probably 6 or 7 different layers of fill. And they're all different. Some are contemporaneous. Some of them look like they could have been the remnants of a pavement for maybe a courtyard that was in this area. Others are, our earliest one that we've completely excavated at this point showed evidence of pottery from the 13th century and also a coin from Pisa from around that same time. So we have a date for our earliest fill. So these other ones that it cuts are later and later. But it shows the reuse of materials over and over again, and it shows that this area has been constantly in use over the different phases of the abbey, which is really interesting.
And so basically the next steps for 5000 right now, we're looking like this. I think later today we will be taking down a red strip that we found in the mortar pit underneath a couple layers, and as well excavating a couple holes that we believe to see delineated up there in the more northernmost sides. And that's about where we're at right now. Yeah.